everybody. Welcome back to the Lord of the Rings Online. This is Gnarlo here. Say hello to everyone, Gnarlo. Good boy. Well, last we left off, we were over in Mirkwood. We've decided to do something a little bit different for tonight's episode. First of all, we'll give you a warning that according to the launcher, of course, by the time you're watching this, you'll already know it, the game is going to be down from, I think they said, 8 to 12 today, Eastern Time, 8 a.m. to 12 Eastern. In other words, about 7.5, 8 hours from now, since it's just after midnight here in Georgia. But we decided we'd come in here. I have, of course, my dwarf, Glenorin, who is a member of the Inn League. I think he's up to Friends. He's definitely acquaintance. I think he may actually be up to Friends with the Inn League. So I figure if I've got a dwarf who's with the Hobbit group, why not have a Hobbit who's with the Ale Association group? I've never worked on or had anything to do with the Ale Association, so I figured I'll start with them, and we're going to have Gnarlo join the Ale Association. So things will be real good and confused here. So one of the things we have to do, first we have to go over here and talk to Jonar. He is the founder. Looks like Jonar and Andri might be brothers here. Very close relatives anyway. See what he has to say.
Won't you give me even a moment?
Tainted mug. Psst! Over here. Yes, you. Who else would I be talking to? You're standing right in front of me, you foolish hobbit. I had an idea. A vision, if you will. It is a dream of the Ale Association. It sounds wonderful, does it not? A true guild of ale-loving dwarves with our finest recipes. The problem is that those woolly-toed, rascally hobbits beat us to it. Here's what you should do. Are you familiar with the Inn League initiation? We shall put a stop to that and choke them at the very beginning so they cannot grow anymore. You should steal the recipes for their precious beers and ales. Without recipes, there can be no Inn League. So there you go. We have got to steal the recipe for Fern Beer, steal the recipe for Gundrick's Ale, steal the recipe for Root Not Cider, and steal the recipe for Perry's Porter. All four of those are the beers. You know, whenever you're over there and start the Inn League initiation, when you're under the tent at the party tree, those are the beers, the drinks that are on the table, and those are also the drinks that are on the table when you're doing the pub crawl. When you're doing the inn run, going from one inn to the other, drinking going from one pub to another, drinking all the drinks in a certain amount of time. Those are the four that you find on the table. So we've got to go and steal our recipes. That will give us an increase with the Ale Association, decrease with the Inn League, legendary item experience, of course, and a badge of dishonor. A badge given to you as recognition for some very bad character. What better with a burglar? This can be traded in with the Ale Association vendors. So we will take that, and we are going to try and see if we can find those recipes. We'll look it up here in just a second. Andri, however, also has a quest. I think he might be his brother.
I would be grateful for your assistance.
Nearly identical sweaters as well. Or I guess being Lord of the Rings in English, nearly identical jumpers. The Ale Association Challenge. Introduction. How do you do, Burglar? Are you interested in a proper drinking challenge for the Ale Association? We have a campaign in Breetown right now, hoping to gain recruits from one of the most famous brewing towns we know of. You want to start at the Prancing Pony. A good fellow named Bjarni is hosting the first challenge at that excellent inn. From there, you will begin a tour of the many stations we have throughout Bree. Good luck to you, my good hobbit. It will not be easy to beat the challenge in the amount of time given to you. So we will need to go to Bjarni at the Prancing Pony. First, let's see where we need to go to steal these recipes. I'm sure there's some information. The very precious Inn League recipes can be found throughout the Shire, in stock outside the Golden Perch, in Great Smiles at Tuckborough, in the Brockingborings Watch Office, and in Waymeet. I've seen that one. I've seen that one, so we'll be hitting Waymeet first, since it'll also be the first stop after we hit Michael Delving. The dwarf Yoner has asked you to steal the recipes of the now famous in-league bests: Fern Beer, Gundrick's Ale, Perry's Porter, and the Root Not Cider. So fantastic. We are going to leave Thorin's Hall here. We are going to run out and get us a stable pony, ride it back over to Michael Delving, and when we arrive back over there, we will be heading down the hill toward Waymeet, and we will join you again when we reach there. We are leaving Michael Delving here, running past the tribute garden there in the middle, heading down the hill toward Waymeet, also known as the trailer park of the Shire. Oh, isn't it a beautiful, beautiful rainbow in the sky there. I was actually hanging out in Waymeet last night. That's why I know where that particular recipe is probably going to be found. I was hanging out in Waymeet last night. I can neither confirm nor deny that my character may be the minstrel that lady down here, that her father warns her not to hang around because nothing good can ever come of it. All I can say is I will never kiss and tell. Let's turn in right here, and as you see right here on the table, precious recipe for Root Not Cider. I don't mind living here, but I hope my children can move to Hobbiton one day, or maybe Scary. Alright, there we go. The precious recipe for Root Not Cider. Let's go ahead and pick it up and see what happens. If anything, really. We're sneakily stealing it. You've stolen... You there, hey! You tell your in-league friends to pay up. These copies of my recipe don't grow on trees, you know. Unbelievable gall. Meanwhile, her buddy over here is sharpening a stake. I think I will just continue moving on, just in case they mistake me for a vampire and decide to do something about it. Alright, that's the first of the recipes. Which is our next one? Our next one, let's see, Stock, Great Smiles, and Brockenborings. I think the Great Smiles and Tookborough will be next. We just need to ride to the top of the hill here and hang a right. So we will get back together with you when we are approaching the Great Smiles, the home of the Thane of the Tooks himself. Crossing Tookborough and heading up to the Great Smiles itself. Let us head on in. I feel like we ought to almost sneak around here. Why don't we go ahead and do that? Let's get a little more in character. Sneak on into the Great Smiles. And we're going to have to see whether or not we can find... There we go. Now I feel like a proper burglar. Let's look around and see if we can find the next recipe that we are looking for. I don't remember I don't remember this hallway back here. This place, it would be wonderful. I had always hoped, you know, back in the day, back when we were curious about LOTRO and what they may, what sort of things they might be in the plans for it. We were always hoping they would expand some of these areas like this, because the Great Smiles is supposed to be a lot like, there we go, a precious recipe for Gundrick's Ale. Bet she's going to yell something at me now. The Great Smiles was always supposed to be like Brandy Hall. It was supposed to be like a regular rabbit warren, an absolute maze of a place with hundreds of rooms and hobbits everywhere, you know? All right, precious recipe for Gundrick's Ale. Let's go ahead and sneakily steal that. Okay. Apparently, no one's going to... Always busy this time of year. Where is that recipe of mine? In-league brewer. Oh dear. My old family recipe has gone missing again. Good thing I have it all memorized. I shall go write it down again now. All right, I guess that's one way of having them explain why there's always copies of it laying around. And judging by the reaction that the other lady had over there in Waymeat, where she says your dwarf buddies need to pay me for that recipe. It makes it sound like this is almost a joke on their part, like this is something that they're doing just for fun, and that it's not really belligerent, shall we say, as the hobbits seem to be in on the joke. But we will see. It's quite possible that quite possibly that I'm mistaken there, and things might get a little bit more nasty as time goes on. All right, we are heading over to Brocken Borings, and that is over the hill and past over hill. So we will see you when we get over there. No, sorry, over there is someplace totally different. We are riding into Brocken Borings here. We need to find the watch office, which I believe is just around here. Where old, oh, what was his name? Proudstone? I always called him. I was just recently watching the early episodes. It's like episode LOTRO 30s or 40s. And Brimstone. Brimstone. Can't remember what it was that I kept calling him. Primrose is what I kept calling him, mistaking him all the time. So, yeah. Hard to, precious recipe for fern beer. Let's take it and then see who says something. Hey, you there. You're not allowed to take... Ooh. Without my famous advice, that is. You'll want to drink that with a spot of nutmeg. I'm a great fan of that recipe as well. I hope you enjoy it. We have plenty more to go around. There you go. You see? Either the hobbits are in on the joke, or they are just, naive and friendly enough that they want everyone to share in the joy of their booze. And see, that's interesting. I like how they've kind of sort of got the supposed frosted glass there, where you can almost see like little hobbit holes and buildings outside there. I like how they do it in the Bree a little bit better. If you'll remember, there's a couple places in Bree where they have windows where their windows are actually semi-translucent, and there's like I don't know, a 2D picture or something behind it, so that as you move around, the outside actually moves with you, so you can actually looks like you're looking through a window. But that's not bad either. Hadn't noticed that there before. Okay, making sure there are no... Oh, I hadn't noticed that either. Look at the hinges on the doors there. So I'd always like looking at the details that the devs have put in. Notice how the hinges on the doors are fists that are holding the door there. That is great. And of course, the very fact that this jail cell hasn't been used in so long, it's covered in cobwebs, and the water's gone quite murky and disgusting. Is there anything else we got in here? It's been a long time since I've been in the watch house. I will... Something on a visiting trip on the world, just as my grandfather did. Since well, help with this quest. I think neat. So, like, if you could get a better... It looks like all these are exactly the same. Wow. Neat. So they do actually say a few things. I wonder what the original said. That would be interesting to see. All right. Never mind. We need to move on here. I'm going to go on outside. And I think next up, we need to get the recipe. It'll be the last one. It's supposed to be outside of... Is it the Golden Perch over in stock? Yes, in stock, outside the Golden Perch. So that is where we will head next. riding past on to the east, riding past Scary. And when we arrive over there, we will once again join you and see what happens when we take that recipe. So we will see you again very shortly. Alright, we've reached the Green Hill country and coming in on stock here. The Golden Perch just ahead of us, behind its surrounding hedge around its front garden here. There we go. Now, let us see if we can find where this recipe might be. We're going to hop off. Once again, act like a burglar and go into sneak mode. I was hoping it would be, thinking it might be over here beside the drunkards and the town people. Whoop, there it is, up underneath the tree next to the drunkard there. Wonder if he's going to say something whenever we take the recipe away. Let us see. Oh, he's definitely a drunkard. He's done spilled half of his drink there. Alright, let's zoom out a little bit, see what happens. There we go. That there's my family recipe. Lots of folks have been borrowing copies. But what did you have to go and wake me up? So rude. Okay. Said lots of people have been borrowing copies of it. Once again, I can't figure out. We will just have to see. Are they in on it or are they just naive? You know, they've talked about that once before. It was in, I think, the Book of Lost Tales. There was a thing where Gandalf, I think, was talking to Thorin and them, and they were talking about, he was trying to persuade him to go and get a burglar, go to the Shire to look for a burglar. Let's see, can we get a ride to Thorin's here?
Hello.
We cannot. We can get a ride to Hobbiton, however. I tell you what, we'll just ride on over there. It's not that far across the Shire, and it's such a beautiful ride. But he was talking to Thorin, trying to convince Thorin that he needed to go to the Shire and get a hobbit for a burglar. And when he was trying to get him to recruit Bilbo, and he was talking about how dumb and naive the hobbits were because they wouldn't haggle. It's like you name a price, and that's what they would give for it. And Gandalf replies to him along the lines of, don't mistake their goodwill and generosity as naivete and stupidity. Just because they believe in giving a good deal or a good bargain, and they don't believe in trying to cheat someone out of something. So, yeah, there you go. So you can't really tell with a hobbit what exactly is going on behind his little head. Unless he's a burglar, of course, and then you really can't tell what's going on behind his little eyeballs. Alright, so we are going to continue riding across the gorgeous Shire here. Actually, I don't even want to cut this out. This is such a beautiful ride, especially here at sunset with the kind of rosy golden light coming through. It is so nice. Let's go ahead and turn off the interface so we've got an actual pretty scene as we go along. Watch everybody else riding here on the Great East Road. I have gotten all the horses and all the comparisons on all the characters I care to get them on now. Still doing the fair just because, for one thing, the festivals like that are always such. In fact, we should start getting a little bit of lag as we come across. Oh, where are we going? Got my fingers on the wrong keys. Should get a little bit of lag as we come across, and we can look down. There you go. Look down at all the happy, merry people enjoying the festival down there. That is another thing I've had to get used to. You all have heard me refer many and many times about the fact that over on Nimrodale, it was so strange to actually be in zones, and whenever I made the transfer over here, that back in the days in Nimrodale that I would be there, and there would be days I would record. I'd spend an hour and a half, 2 hours recording the footage that it took to make a 20 or 30 minute one of these episodes. and I would be in zones and never see another person the entire time. That never happens anymore. It doesn't matter how out of the way or ill-traveled the zone is, I almost always will run into somebody these days. Unless it happens to be, the only time it doesn't happen is if it's some out-of-the-way, inconspicuous little cave somewhere that's only used for one quest. I might not run into someone, and even then you have a chance. Even then, about a fourth of the time I'll be in there and somebody else will come running in. Apparently running either their character or their alt, perhaps through the same quest again. So that has took some getting used to, and the fact that the festivals here actually have people at them, large numbers of people. Even on the beast here, my computer, I get a little bit of lag whenever I'm riding into the festival area, or when I ride down there to Mud Bottom Pond to do the fishing. And I've discovered, as Mindfiend has said, you know, if you want to do the mushroom hunt or the egg scramble, you have to wait until all the Americans go to bed. It's the way that he put it, because otherwise there are so many people. The couple of times I've tried to do the mushroom hunt, there was a dozen and a half people in that field. So there was no possible way to get it done. All right, let's hit the stable master. We're going to go back over to Thorn's Hall. Cut our interface back on, and we will see you when we get back into the inn. Where am I going? Right there. I'll see you back whenever we get into the inn in Thorn's Hall. We're back in the inn in the basement of Thorn's Hall. Very dwarven down here. What is it they say whenever they're discussing the quest of Erebor and Bag End? Dark for dark plan. We like the dark for dark plans, or something like that. There's definitely plenty of dark corners down here that you can hide away in and discuss things better not brought out into the light. Tainted mug. Those foul little hairy-footed, shorn-faced devils. I hate them. I hate all hobbits. I did not expect that those recipes would be duplicated and given out to all the nosy burglars who fancied one. Well, I've learned one thing that will be of advantage to the Ale Association, the greatest league of ale enthusiasts in all of Middle-earth. We know now the hobbits do not guard their secrets as the dwarves do, and this will be their undoing. Ha! All right. Completed tainted mug. Okay. So we have got your standing with the Ale Inn League. The Inn League is now outsider. Your reputation with the Inn League has decreased by 500. And your reputation with the Ale Association has increased by 900. So, because remember, before we didn't have any in-league points, so you can drop and become an outsider. I wonder if you keep dropping, if you go through different levels backwards like you do when going forwards. That's going to be interesting to see. All right, let's talk to him again. I'll bet he's got more quests for us. He does indeed. An irritating initiation and a draft drought. We're going to hold off on those two, just because we've got one over here where we need to go talk to Bjarni at the Prancing Pony. We will be waiting for you, yeah? Yeah, terrible. But I think we've probably expanded. We're probably at least the 20-minute mark here, so that is where we will leave off. Next time, we will go and talk to Bjarni. And we also grab the other Ale Association quest from Jonar here. And we will talk to you then. I hope you have enjoyed it. Like I said, something a little different, something I've been wanting to do for a while, but never really got around to. And so this time we will take a look. I don't think I will max out my Ale Association standings this time around. We've only got, about a week? Maybe a week left? Maybe a little bit less in the festival, but we will definitely try and see as many of these quests as we can while it's going on. to complete the different the list of different quests and all might take us until the next time, which I think will be the Harvest Festival. I think the Harvest Festival will be the next festival that comes around with the Haunted Burrow as well. But the L Association will be in full force then as well if we don't complete it this time. So we will see you next time. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.